Security, they say, is everyone's business, but I beg to differ. I think security should be seen as everyone's concern, but the business of security professionals. I think that way we will be able to find opportunities, find the professionals who understand the responsibility they owe to the rest of the community, wherever they live, and the world, in keeping it safe and secure. Insecurity is escalating worldwide. Nigeria, according to Nigeria's Senate, is currently so bedeviled with insecurity that it qualifies to have insecurity as one of its synonyms. Can you imagine the synonym of Nigeria as insecurity? And this is not far-fetched, given the horrible story of cases of security challenges, kidnapping, rape, ransoms running into billions of naira collected and given to bandits to release hundreds of school children kidnapped at once. Fulani herdsmen only last week on 4 attacks in Enugu and Ebonyi states killed over 100 people and burned down 4 communities. Daily reports of kidnapping, collection of billions of naira in ransom, killing and raping women all over Nigeria by bandits, principally staffed by people of Fulani ethnic nationality, is happening all over Nigeria. Between December 2020 and today, 4 months, about 1,000 school children in Katsina, Niger, Zamfara States, with reports of over 5 billion paid out in ransom to the bandits, has happened in Nigeria and is still happening. I think so far, students of the Agricultural Technical College in Kaduna who have been kidnapped for over 2 weeks now are still in captivity. As if the above their state of insecurity, which made the Canadian government issue a security warning to their citizens not to travel to Nigeria because of the confused state of insecurity in that country, is not enough. Cases of cybercrime is increasing rapidly, with daily reports of these internet-based criminal activities, such as identity theft, wiping away of people's savings in the bank, virtual kidnapping, malware, and phishing, etc., reported every day. Mr. Maurice Obonaya, a research expert attached to Institute of Security Studies of South Africa, wrote in an article with the topic, "Cybercrime in Nigeria Demands Public-Private Action," which appeared on the October 2020 edition of the Institute of Security Studies online magazine, the ISS Today, and stated that in 2018, commercial banks in Nigeria lost a cumulative 15 billion naira, about $39 million, to electronic fraud and crime and cybercrime. This was like 537% increase on the 2.37 billion naira loss in 2017. Over 17,600 bank customers and depositors lost 1.9 billion to cybercrime in 2018, with fraud rising by 55% from previous year. Nigeria's Consumer Awareness and Financial Enlightenment Initiative has projected a 6 trillion loss by 2030 to cybercrime within and outside Nigeria. These crimes are committed mostly through phishing and identity theft. Cyber criminality is increasing at a rate in Nigeria that is running neck to neck with banditry in Nigeria at the moment. One conclusion I made in my book, Security and Security Guide Handbook, is that security situation of Nigeria, and in fact, the whole world is not going to get better. With that conclusion, what is a man or woman to do to be able to keep self, family, and assets safe and secure in a situation like the one described above that we have on our hands in Nigeria? The recommendation I made in the book, which I have also shared in a number of fora that I have spoken at, is that individuals, families, and corporate organizations can get smarter through security awareness education. As a corporate social responsibility contribution, the Town Hall Communication Company Limited and the African Town Hall Online Television created the program Personal and Family Security and Safety Program, broadcast live weekly on the African Town Hall Online Television, where we bring security expert professionals to share from their wealth of experience and training how to keep ourselves smart and aware of the devices of the criminals so we can stay safe and secure in these perilous times. Today, we are pleased to have Honorable Paul U. Chigbu, Certified Security and Safety Manager, Certified Security and Safety Officer, Certified Ethical Hacker, CompTIA Security Plus, and Certified Fraud Inspector, a cybersecurity expert with over 15 years experience in information security, to share some insights into cybercrime, cybersecurity systems and procedures, and how we can best keep ourselves and our families secure. And in this time of ever-increasing cyber criminality that is bedeviling Nigeria and the whole world. Honorable Chigbu, please welcome to our studios.
Thank you very much, Mr. Francis, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here as always. Viewers, welcome. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Okay. So, without wasting any more time, let's go straight to the issues that we have on our hands today. Mr. Chigbu's background is in information security. That is all the security issues that had to do with the cyberspace, internet, computers, and so on. So, Honorable Chigbu, from your privileged position as a cybersecurity professional, please enlighten the public about the meaning of cybersecurity and cybercrime.
Okay, thank you. Well, as a way of definition, let me use the Wikipedia definition of cybersecurity, or cyber information technology security, as the case might be. They define it as the protection of computer systems and networks from information disclosure, theft of or damage to the hardware, software, or electronic data, as well as from the disruption or misdirection of services they provide. So that's just a way of definition. It's just about protection of information. This is computer network, of course, computer systems, information that are available online from thefts or mismanagement or unauthorized access, as the case might be. So, as a way of definition, that's what cybercrime or cybersecurity is all about. Cyber theft, as the case might be.
Okay, thank you. Viewers, you can get from our beginning that today promises to be a great opportunity to learn in detail some of the issues that had to do with this specter of criminality that is becoming a big challenge for everyone, both governments, corporate organizations, and individuals. We want you to join this discussion to make it robust through your comments and your questions. So let your comments keep coming ask questions. We expect that Mr. Chigbu will have a chance today to assist us to respond to some of the questions that you may have. Okay. Honorable, with about 4 billion users, I think it's more than that right now, the internet has become one of the greatest technological developments. While widely accepted for its ease and efficiency, it is also embedded with multiple vulnerabilities, which pose significant security threats to users and has led to the emergence of cybercrime. What are the different ways cyber criminals attack individuals, families, and corporate organizations?
Okay, there are different ways that cyber attacks take place. I'll try firstly to use the professional terms or types of attacks, cybercrime attacks, and after which I'll also try to use certain common languages, some of the attacks that are best known for people. One of the ones is what we call DOS, denial of service. It's one of the cybercrime activities or attacks that takes place on cyber activity or cyber networks. We also have what is called man-in-the-middle attack. It's also another type of attack that takes place on cyber networks. We have what's called phishing and spear phishing attacks, drive-by attacks, password attack, SQL injection attack, cross-site scripting, and of course the airdropping and all that. These are some of the professional attacks that take place online. So, but let me concentrate, because we are discussing family safety and security. I would like to use terms that when you say DOS, for instance, as one of the attacks that takes place on the cyber network, computer network, people might not really understand in practical terms what you are trying to say. So, but let me use words, common languages to help people understand. The ones that are known to people today are the forms that has household names, like the Yahoo something, for instance, where someone engages in some form of phishing or playing with someone's conscience, trying to use some of the human norms or empathy or whatever the case might be to take advantage of someone's disposition, good dispositions. Okay, so that's one of them. There's also this other type that is quite popular, which affects the world, which is what we call scamming. Scamming is where someone, uses some intellectual or some professional or technical skills to get something valuable from maybe a member of the family or somebody, or claim to be what he's not. We also have the issue of identity theft. So where you see someone's Facebook information hijacked. Someone will post what we call impersonation in English language. So we also have that type where someone will, take over your once he has or she has access to the login details of a user. So he or she will simply log in and pose as if he's a person, somebody solicit for help or whatever the case may be. So that's also another form. These are some of the words that people know. These are some of like the what you were mentioning during your introductory statement, where you talk about 1.something billion lost recorded over cybersecurity frauds and all that. They are actually related to this type of crimes, mainly that I'm mentioning. The other technical ones are for very advanced and big hackers, who try to kill them for a way of getting access or taking control of a company or an institution, a well-known institution, or maybe government against another government. So, but they are not really too popular. People don't really understand all that. So the ones people know that are familiar with our families and people at home is the Yahoo something, is the issue of scamming, is the issue of fake identity, and then of course information theft, where credential hijacking, where someone takes certain login details. They can even take your financial credentials, for instance. So they can take things that has to do with your banking things and be able to can use it to gain access into your account and possibly transfer your money to other accounts. So that's also another situation. So these are some of the cybercrime attacks, types of attacks that are known by people. I earlier started by mentioning the professional ones like PODs, the issue of phishing, the issue of man in the middle, and of course others, so on and so forth. So those ones are professional. They are mainly used by professional hackers. But some of these other ones that I mentioned are the ones that are known by people. The issue of identity theft, what we call credential hijacking, so where someone's credential is stolen and then is used to gain unauthorized access into his information, could be a banking information or whatever. We also have the issue of scamming. We also have what's called imposition, so where someone poses as that person and then is able to use the person's connections to gain certain privileges. So these are some of the cyber security attacks that are both known.
Okay, and as you spoke, and I kind of learned that the ones that you didn't call as technical and professional kind of attacks, like phishing, imposition, and imposition, all of these ones are for those who are trying to steal from directly from people, let's say through people's bank accounts and so on and so forth, identity theft and so on. And then what is the objective of the highly technical professional hackers? What do they really do their own work for?
Okay, for the high-tech hackers or professional hackers or information theft experts, is actually used for so many reasons. One of them would be, normally is that they have sponsors, the government sponsoring them. Maybe the government is trying to get some privileged information from another government of another country. And so they want certain things, so they try to sponsor some of these guys and they do that. Some of them also do it professionally as a way of making a living. Okay, let me give you, for instance, those in the antivirus industry, for instance, is a profession. So when they make the antivirus, some of them also sponsor hackers to create the virus. Because if there are no virus, the antivirus will not be useful and there won't be anybody selling it or buying it, as the case may be. So some of them professionally, they go about some of those these things just as a way of making professional gain. So for those professionals, these are some of them. Again, to companies, in the course of competition with other companies, maybe they want to get sales information or a strategy or plan that a particular company has drafted, which they're using to gain competitive advantage over them. So they will employ the professional hackers, and then information theft. So they're able to log into. They can use certain professional techniques to gain access into the network of that particular company, their target company. Maybe what is called professional, we have what is called social engineering. Social engineering is some of the techniques that professional hackers or cyber crime professionals use to gain access into or gain certain privileged informations that they can use to gain access into a target network. So once that is secured, they can gain that just to get certain information that can allow them to also compete favorably with that company. So that's basically what it is.
Okay, I can see business intelligence there, maybe gathering of business intelligence. They can hackers, and to me that is actually an unorthodox, inappropriate way of doing it. But these things are there, and also espionage, because when you try to get information about another nation you are not authorized to have, that is called espionage. Okay, I can see clearly what is going on there. Thank you very much for those lights you've thrown in these critical elements. Okay, now going forward, one of the major problems with cybercrime and other criminal activities is the attitude of fatality and complacency on the part of individuals and corporate organizations. Many of them believe that it will not happen to them. What are the basic cybersecurity awareness education that can easily be provided for individuals and families to help them raise their level of consciousness of the threats posed by cyber criminals? Any thoughts?
Okay, thank you very much. What you said is a fact. Let me say this. In our studies, I did one of the studies I did was for ethical hacking. In ethical hacking, we are trained, we develop the skills that hackers use to hack people's information and all that, but we do ours ethically. We rather use it as a defense. In that place, there is a sort of notion or something that we rehearse that is more like a national anthem for us, which is the fact that you can't stop a hacker. You can only make things difficult for you. So people need to understand it. I think people need to understand it. The truth is that hacking, or even a hacker, most times you just can't stop him. You can only make things difficult. So talking about cybercrime or whatever education, enlightenment for people. My company, Pentum Core Limited, is into full-time preventive security and safety programs. Also, and we've been able to develop certain tips. Okay, we have what is called 10 safety guides or guidelines that can families can adopt that can help them in preparing themselves or staying aware, being aware of possible attack. These things can happen anytime. It can happen to anybody. It can see from anybody. So let me quickly share that tip, just the 10 tips as a way of asking this question. Number one is what we are dealing with here is family, security, and safety. So it is actually, these tips are actually meant targeted towards families, just as a way of staying safe. So the first one is to, you need to combine both the physical and the cyber things. One of them is to, before you can achieve cyber, you also need to achieve physical. So we have the issue of secure windows and doors. So before you can achieve the cyber side, you need to start with the physical security, the cyber physical security. So let me quickly mention one of the things. The first tip there is to secure the windows and doors. That is physical security. So you start with the physical security. You ensure that you secure your windows and your doors. Get protectors, get these things, and then look for whatever burglary or whatever, and ensure that you have at least physical security over your windows and doors. That's for homes. The other one is, which is also very important, is what we call meet your neighbor or meet the neighbor. Get to know your neighbors. It is important. Security starts. It's not one person something. It is a collective effort. So it's important that in your neighborhood, you know everybody there. See, the idea of living by yourself, it's not a good thing when it comes to security. So we as a way of enlightening or keeping people ahead, we ask them to get to know their neighbors, get acquainted with their neighbors, get acquainted with who is living the next door to them, who is living beside them, who is living all around them. They need to just, not just to know them, but they need to be friends with them. They need to be able to take into their homes. So, and these are some of the things that will help the families as a way of, staying alert about it. The third one is what we call identify resources and create a plan. So you need to identify what is the security resources available within your area. This thing includes getting numbers from fire service. It includes knowing, subscribing to programs that provide tips, constant tips, or that gives you an update on the latest scamming techniques going on within your area. You don't just use internet to do chatting and all that. You need to get into groups that can provide enlightenment on cyber security or scanning and other online security things. I also have what is called maintain privacy. Privacy is very important. And first, anytime you want to go online, you want to open a Facebook, you want to open anything you want to open, it's important you consult with people who can help you with privacy. That's one of the things my company does. We help people to maintain online privacy. So you need to filter the information that you feed online, the information you feed on your social media account and all that. So it is very important that you consider privacy in setting up those things. The other one is what we call timers and lights. Okay, so we also, that one has to do with physical security. So one of the things you do is to, when you're not around, you try to leave your lights on or use timers. There are technologies that can start the radio, the sound systems at a certain time and play them after a while to stop them. So those technologies are available. You can consult those who are into it. Our company, again, is also good at some of those technology things and all that. So these are some of the things. We call them preventive technologies. Those preventive technologies are very important. So you need to get into all those type of timers and all that. We also ask you to be wary of strangers. See, strangers, before a cyber crime or an online information or credential theft, whatever takes place, most times someone has gotten too close to you. So you need to be very much wary of strangers or people that come into your life once in a while, where you visit, so that you'll be sure of whom you are opening your WhatsApp with on, why he's around, whose system you're using to log into your credentials and all that. And as much as possible, you avoid using people's system to log in your credentials. And if need be, and you have to do that, you also have to ensure that when you finish, you have to sign out from systems, because that's where the thing happens. If you're not able to do that, they will steal your information. When you leave, they will log in, they can change your password and all that. Okay, so we also talked about considering what is called home securities, preventive securities. Home securities include cameras and maybe things like certain technologies that can help you secure home. Camera is very important. Dogs are also part of the things, securities. You can think of any other debate. Talking about cyber security, you need to think about technologies, preventive technologies that can help you really cope the threats that a professional scammer can pose. One of them could be getting good antivirus and ensuring that it's always activated, it's always updated, and is active and is working. And you provide occasional scanning. These are some of the things. And then, of course, you also have to be considerate of your environment anytime you are anywhere. Be cautious of, especially when you're in ATM, for instance, need to look at who is looking at you, the way they are looking at you, because sometimes that's where they stay and steal. You need to be conscious of whether there's a mirror, a reflecting mirror, where you are doing your ATM transactions, or somebody will stay there and using the reflection coming from the mirror, be able to know your PIN. You put there and all that, and after you are gone, they will try and log in online, and they can do that. And of course, always be vigilant and assume that something can go wrong. So that's very important. Always be vigilant. And remember, like I said before, you can't stop a hacker. You can only make things difficult.
Okay, thank you. That is helpful. And I think it means that part of our consciousness will also be to look out for professionals who can help us in these situations. Okay, thank you very much. That is very sound comment on that question. Okay. Cybercrime destroys the reputation of a country, making the business environment difficult for startups and small and medium-sized enterprises, while discouraging investment in the economy by foreign companies. How would you describe the damage that cybercrime has done to the image of Nigeria in the recent years, and what impact this might have had in the inflow of foreign direct investment into the country?
I must tell you that the issue of cybercrime has done a tremendous damage to the reputation of Nigeria as a country. Recently, sometime I think last 2 years, there was that issue in the United States, for instance, where certain scammers and cyber crime names were shortlisted. So, and it was spread all over the internet. Many of them were Nigerians. Many of them. But a good number of them were Nigerians. So, in all the countries of the world, Nigerians are now known as scammers. They are now known as fraudsters. They are now known as people who are very good in scamming and what is called social engineering and phishing and all that. Most of these online crimes, Nigerians are getting reputations, day by day. So I think so far it has created significant damage to the way the world sees Nigerians. And of course, it will have an impact on our investment level considerations by international communities or maybe NGOs, as the case might be, for any organization or group that wants to come to do an investment in a country. But one of the things they consider is the level of cybercrime and all that. It's a very important consideration because most of the things that companies do, most of the information go through online media and all that. So today, social e-business and social media and all that are very important part of businesses. So most businesses have social accounts, they have some Twitter and all that. So most of their information are online. So obviously speaking, they will have to consider that. So with the level at which it's going, I think that so far it has created a lot of damage and will definitely affect turn-up of response.
Yeah, yes, I think you're right there because of recent the foreign direct investment figures of Nigeria had dipped so terribly, and because these people are not relenting, every now and then Nigerians are caught up in this crime outside of Nigeria. I think it is contributing to the consideration of a country like Nigeria, so huge as a pariah nation. And this level of criminality is totally unacceptable and harmful to the country in every way. Okay, thank you. McAfee, one of the world's leading manufacturers of antivirus software for keeping computers safe and secure, they estimate that 95% of cyber crimes go unreported In other words, the huge reports of cybercrime that we see that may someone to describe it as upsurging currently is even only 5% of what is happening. In other ways, we are in better trouble than we really know. Okay. With Nigeria venturing into a cashless society, the threat of cybercrime becomes all the more relevant. There are needs to have an integrated effort between the individuals, businesses, that is banks in particular, and probably all other businesses, and the Nigerian government and international communities working together on this matter. Okay. So in what ways, in your opinion, can banks, individuals, government, and international community work together to keep depositors' funds safe in the banks and to redeem the battered image of Nigeria because of the notoriety of many Nigerians in cybercrime?
Okay, thank you very much. I think they already have started something in that direction. A while ago, they completed what is called BVN, which is something that is welcome development. You know, it is so far is helping to identify individuals who own an account and those who get access into people's account and all that. So BVN is one of those steps that which I must commend. Is highly commendable because it allows you to know who signed into certain accounts and all that. So that's a great thing they have started doing. I think all the banks and the governments are working together in that one. They work together and they are still working together. Currently, too, they are doing what is called the harmonization of the NIM, that is the national identity. That one is very wonderful because if it's also achieved to help to identify the individual, not just that, even identify where he or she stays. So that one, I think, should be fast tracked. And again, I think that they will have to, one of the ways that they need to start doing is also they'll have to find a way to interwove these two technologies into one, integrate them into one single technology, and make them very efficient, make them in such a way that you can hardly gain access or gain any information of anybody without providing them. Even staying in hotels, but they need to make it compulsory that when someone goes to stay in a hotel, you just need to provide an identity, like just the name, for instance, and he's logged into the hotel database. So there is need for us to have one powerful database or information system that synchronizes both the BVN and the NIMS information together, so that such identity will be used for whatever transaction or any place that people will see. So that way, it will make it difficult for someone who wants to, for instance, steal an identity without that. You know, but whatever you do, the truth is that people have rights according to our laws guiding information, technological information, soft copy information, and all that. It is the right of the user, you know, to disclose to anybody who feels like. But people take advantage of that. That's why today we are having also what is called double authentication systems. Okay? When you log into Facebook, they have what is called two-way authentication. So that's a great technology that allows you to have other ways outside the password credential. You also provide other credentials to authenticate the user. You know, to authenticate that you are the one who legitimately owns a particular account. You know, so that's a great thing that they're doing. So I think that Nigeria also need to think of even having what is called three-way or more ways for authentications, or have an organized just one single number. You know, in the States, United States, for instance, it's called social security number. It's what you use to gain access almost everywhere, even at the airport and all that. All they need is just that number. So I think if they do that, it will go a long way. But Aside that, there's also need for us to provide more sensitizations to people who use, especially the social media, so that there is need for them to understand the risk that they're exposed to by sharing certain things, informations online. There is need for us to provide more education on privacy of information. So there is a need for us to provide more sensitization on that area. It has to be a synergy between the government and corporate organizations. And of course, like he said, security is everybody's business, like we started before, though it is more or less the very concern of the professional. But when it comes to coping cyber security things, it has to be everybody's business. Because most times it is not the security professionals who disclose them. So most times it is those who don't know. That people who are less sensitized or informed about the consequences of disclosing the information and all that are more vulnerable than those that are sensitized, that have people. So I think it's important that we also provide more education, more enlightenment programs that can help people enlighten them on the need to protect their information online and not to disclose their personal identities to unauthorized persons.
Okay, from what you're saying, I reckon that maybe the government will do a better job of continuing awareness education on the need for the NIN, the connection of BVN and NIN, and even mobile phone numbers, and even our passports, our travel passports together, and awareness instead of force and deadlines. Because when you do deadline, people rush and create chaos, which makes it difficult for the type of information we are looking for to be actually acquired and properly established. But if there is awareness, and I buy that with you, if there is an improvement in the awareness of the necessity for these things, people are more likely to key into them because they know that this is about them. The benefit is theirs. Okay, as we have more people appear on the viewing screen, we want to remind you that this is the Personal and Family Security and Safety Program on the African Town Hall Online Television. And today we are discussing with Honorable Paul Chigbu, a well-versed cyber security professional who has a lot of training and experience in the field. He will help us to have an understanding and make meaning out of the challenges we face in the cyberspace. And we have also seen some comments. We want to have you let your comments keep coming, bringing your questions. If you have any question that had to do with cybersecurity or the things we have discussed, our expert on the seat today is more than willing to help us understand a lot more of these things. Thank you. In due course, we'll be looking at the comments you have made, and if we need to respond to it, he will take up that action. All right. Honorable Chigbu, why do we need to secure the families? And what impact does family security have in the entire society?
Thank you. That's a very important question. You see, like I mentioned to you before, our company is into what is called preventive security. And from our researches and our experiences, what we have seen is that one of the major problems Nigeria has at this point is the issue of not taking development or taking the government's programs to the families. In fact, the government has little or no programs that are targeted at the families. And I must tell you that it's a very serious mistake. It's a very serious mistake. The reason is because the family is the basic unit of the society. The implication of that statement is that if the family is okay, the society will be okay. If the family is well secured, our society will be secured. It's just that simple. You cannot get any better. So what we are seeing in the society today are lapses, from the trainings given to, individuals or children in the families. There are loopholes that, were created as a result of negligence of the families. So I think that the family has all the impacts. The family, the state of the family, the state of affairs, the state of welfare, the state of finance and economy of a family, directly and indirectly also affects or reflects the state of the nation. So now that we're experiencing insecurities, the implication is that many of our homes are not secured. Many of our homes, our children do not get adequate training on, the importance of human sanity. They are beginning to lose human sanity. Today we are experiencing a situation where a child will kill his mother, maybe over slight provocations, or even in the spirit of becoming famous. He kills the mother and all that. Some of them kill their father, some of them kill their own children, some of them sell their children. That is where the problems are. I think that governments should focus, should develop programs, should develop, technologies and softwares that will take governance to the families. Let me tell you, for instance, when I was growing up as a young man, we do have people who call sanitary inspectors. These people visit our homes once every month. They were from the government. So, for a young child growing up, if for no other day in a month, that particular day, we will sweep everywhere will sparkle. Over time, that is still that culture of cleanliness. That is still that ideology that, where we see the government as a disciplinary entity. And so we grew up that way. These cultures are still in us. Naturally, if I wake up in the morning as a child, I will take broom and start sweeping the compound, even if it's a tenancy or whatever, the place I rented, because it's a culture that single program, inculcated inside me, and I grew up with it. So I think that there is need for governments to set up programs. We at Pentipo, we have developed a particular program that combines counseling and inspection. Now, not just the inspection of environment, we also inspect welfare, security, and we're able to identify possible security risk, that the government can start working on, and we can start using counseling to take care of. It's one of the programs we have now that we have discussed with some governments, state governments. And many of the people that we discuss the thing with, they are very interested. They love the program, they love the idea. The problem is just how to kickstart it, how to incorporate it into their own things. Secondly, too, we need laws that can enforce preventive technologies at homes, as part of the things that will help the home, to improve in security. We also need to sensitize parents who are at work to be security conscious, to prioritize the security of their children. because once we miss that training, in fact, all that our society is suffering today, permit me to tell you that it is also as a result of lack of adequate training of children by the parents, lack of adequate sensitization on security and other things. So and invariably is having direct impact on our society. So the issue of security being secure, the issue of the family being well, in fact, being the very basic place where security is practiced is as important as anything. And government must key into this and prioritize programs that are aimed at the families, helping them to be more aware of security and the need to sensitize themselves and their children on the importance of security technologies and preventive security especially.
Okay, that is well taken, and I think we cannot overemphasize the fact that, as they say, charity begins at home. If we want to get anything right in our society, we need to take care of the home front. And then, of course, our program is about individuals and their families, because we know that if individuals and families will become conscious of security situations and how to be safe, the society itself will become conscious, because the society is made up of individuals and families. So thank you for that very clear explanation there on both the need for security in the family's impact in society, and of course, who is responsible and what government should be doing. Okay, viewers, we still see many of you coming, and we appreciate every presence on our YouTube channel. If this is your first time of coming to our YouTube channel, we invite you to subscribe to the channel. And if you would click on the notification bell, it means that next time we go online live or we upload a video, you'll be able to see it. And we know that the more people that see this, the more the good we are providing for free to the world, we get to many more people, which is our intent. We are here today on the African Town Hall Online Television on the program, Personal and Family Security and Safety Program. And on the seat, helping us with his expertise is Honorable Paul Chigbu, a well-versed cyber security expert with a lot of training and experience in the field. Okay, Honorable Chigbu, in this day and age, children have access to smartphones and internet. Some of them, depending on how rich their homes are, have that 24/7. And data costs as little as 200 naira. So I think there's even 50 naira data these days. So data is also available to everyone who can hold an Android phone. So in our usual style, this is seen as a status symbol for some upwardly moving families or young people who are thinking that they have arrived. Now, what cybersecurity problems are these young ones with uncontrolled access to the cyber world exposed to? And how can their parents protect them without necessarily denying them access to their expensive toys, the gadgets and then the internet? How can parents help these young ones?
Okay, thank you very much. When you, during your introductory training, you said that unprotected or uncontrolled access, that was the language you used. That's the key word there, and that's where the problem lies. The truth is, there is need for children to have gadgets that they can use to access information online, because most of the things, educational materials and otherwise, are mainly online today. So it is not out of place for a child to have a device that he or she can use to gain access to online information. The problem comes from protection. even the Bible says, train up a child in the way that he or she should go, and when he or she has grown that way, he or she will not depart from that. Because the implication also is that there is time also for everything. Once you score a child by our law, or constitutionally speaking, is anybody that is below the age of 18 years. You know, it is important that parents, parents take joy in buying one of the fine gadgets. And when you see their children, they say they are using iPhone 11, an iPad, this or that. That's interesting. But you see, if you buy a gadget for a child, there is need for it to be controlled. The kind of information he or she, the kind of site that he or she should visit. Again, let me go back to some of our own program. For us in Protocol Limited, again, we have developed certain programs that can help to protect the gadget that a child or the type of information that a child can have access to. So what we ask the parents, when they buy this gadget, let them look for a cyber security expert, companies such as ours, to install certain softwares that will restrict access to certain websites, to certain type of information. For instance, pornographic materials, or any site that has to do with sex, or any pornographic image, which is one of the major problems that the children are having, especially the teenage ones. So we have certain softwares, some of them are in terms of firewalls or so, that can use to filter the kind of information that they can use that gadget to have access to, so that they can only have access to mainly positive information online. So, when you start exposing a child to certain information that is meant for adults, see, that child is likely going to start misbehaving. They will have proliferation in the number of children who engage in drugs, who engage in prostitution, who engage in certain sexual exposures at tender ages. So this is as a result of the fact that the information they expose themselves, they stop into as they go through or stuff, as they go through their systems and phones, their information meant for adults. So, and they get to access to some of these things at tender age. So there is need for parents to control the kind of informations that the children. One of the softwares we use to control the information that a child has access to can even allow the parents to know, no matter whether, even if in the offices or wherever they are, anywhere in the world, the parents can actually see who is calling that child, what kind of messages are this child, including the social media information or messages, maybe such as WhatsApp messages, Facebook messengers, and so on and so forth. So this app can actually allow the parents to have access to those messages, be able to see the kind of messages that the child receives, and also see who calls and whom they call. The parents can even intercept such calls when they feel suspicious of anything. They can intercept such calls. So having those kind of application is very important for parents who are trying to train up their children and all that. So I think there is need. You can't stop them from having the gadget because their schools will demand for these gadgets. It's also important because, especially, you see how useful online information was during this lockdown and things like that. So it's good that they're exposed to technology at tender ages. But what is not good is unfiltered, kind of unrestrained or unrestricted access to certain information. So such measures will go a long way to helping parents to control the information that their children can see online.
Okay, and talking about that, one is minded to remember the fact that some pedophiles and child traffickers are very adept using the cyberspace to attract young children to themselves. So these controls that you mentioned, my feeling is that that would be a very great way for parents to be sure that though their children necessarily need to hold this gadget because it has a lot of educational elements, and it's also the right way to go about learning these days. But then these controls will make sure that if you notice that your child is communicating with a pedophile or some strange persons, it will now help one to take a move that can protect that child. Very helpful there. Thank you very much. Now, some years ago, a former boss of mine who have only a few years to retire from service received a link requiring him to complete his US tax details online. He has a US citizenship, so his tax details, they send him a link, the IRS require that you complete your tax details here. And then he clicked the link, supplied his details, and a few hours only a few hours later, all his life savings were wiped away. What advice do you have for people about email, WhatsApp, or other electronic initiated messages requiring people to click and supply their details?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me make it simple. Do not open any link that you are not aware of the source, or even when you are aware of the source, it might be appropriate for you to confirm from the source if he or she sent a link before you open it. That's one. Secondly, you need to have certain link checking technologies that can be able to check a scam, oriented links and be able to advise you before you open it. So such things are software. Similarly, they are embedded as part of the security software that you have in your system. So once you have security application, maybe such as what we call antivirus, the anti-spyware, you can have an antivirus. It's different from anti-spyware or things like that. Those are some of the anti-spyware is one of the things that softwares that can, help to check spams, online spams and all that. So when they do those such spams, they can actually be able to advise you. They will not even allow you to do it. And again, one other advice that I will have for people is just take note of this. Sometimes it's the issue of people not being contented with maybe the level of being too inquisitive about exploring certain things online that leads them into some of these becoming victims of these situations or these cyber crime activities. So let me say, for instance, someone who is always looking for maybe an opportunity online and all that, who is looking for money or get involved in all these games and unnecessary things online. Now, as a wolf. So usually once you are that aggressive or that once you're that inquisitive, you are likely going to fall victim of this kind of circumstances. So don't open links when you are not sure. And when it comes to anything that asks you, or any link or any form that will require your personal details, especially your confidential information such as banking information, please do not fill it. Do not complete it. In fact, money banks will tell you that they will never request for such information. So at no point should you or anyone open any link that is requesting for you to put your confidential information, such as bank passwords or other confidential information, as the case might be, don't just put it. It's not acceptable unless you are 100% sure of the source, or you are part of, such a program also that is money for that. So it's just that simple. But somehow, like I said, you can't stop the hackers or scammers. You can only make things difficult, and that making it difficult implies that you need to get yourself aware, get involved in programs that can put you on the knowledge of the latest skill they are using. They use different schemes at different times. So the more you are aware of these schemes, the more you are aware of some of the ways and tools they use, the better for you.
Okay, thank you very much. That is helpful. And you have hinted about this today when we talked about protecting children with devices, but you are a pioneer of device security and safety system, that help people to keep their data safe and secure, and in tracking and recovery of lost devices, especially mobile phones. How does it work, and how can people access that service?
Okay, for the one we have our offices where those kind of services are rendered. So basically, we focus on the preventive side. One of our offices is at XC29, Suite SC29, Barnes Plaza, we say in Abuja. We also have an office in the east at Aba, 99 Abore Road. These are places you can walk in and you can get these services rendered to you. We are currently opening an office in Lagos. Once that is done, we also let people know about the location. But how it works is simple. When you buy a device newly, at that time you have not exposed it to anything. It is the best time to have these apps. And also, we render it for several purposes for companies who want to, for instance, monitor the online activities of their staff, who use their phones and all that, monitor certain things, we also do that for individuals who want to protect themselves against cyber crime attacks, scamming, as the case might be. So we install certain applications that can allow you be able to do that. But one other thing that these apps can also do is that in case your device get lost or stolen, you can also use these apps to enable you find them, or find where they are, and you can now engage the services of police to assist you recover them. So if you have, if you buy a device, please, we advise you to firstly bring the device to us. These apps work better when you have not exposed them, so that as you get them, we also install certain app that will monitor the scamming things and sources of links. Before you open them, the app will scan through them and ensure that that link is safe for you to open. For talking about families too, we have part of the ones I mentioned. This is the one that has to do with family protection. That one can allow the parents to, see the online activities of their children, the messages, the calls that their children receive. It does more than that. It also helps them to know the location, the exact location in the map or on the map of their children at any point, at any time at all in the day. So anywhere your children, it can even help you to locate them at all times. You will know where they are at every point in time. So you also be able to, you also have the ability to intercept. You can even delete some of their contacts without letting them. They can't. Now, one of the things that people ask is, when the children delete the app, if you buy the gadget and bring it to us earlier before you expose it to the child, we can secure it in such a way that the child cannot delete it. Those kind of apps are not apps that you can delete. We also have apps that can restrict them access to some sites that are not good, like sites that has to do with pornography, site that has to do with drugs, site that has to do with other social vices, things that you don't want your children to know. So we have apps that we can also install, and it can ensure that the children don't get exposed, that way. And then we also have certain other things, technologies that we can install in the homes. You can also use to monitor your house. For companies and organizations, one of the problems they have is they think that because they have camera installed, which is a common thing that most of them do have in their companies, they think they are secure. Even with the cameras, a lot of things go wrong too. So we have also developed a program we call Intelligent Image Analysis. This is a program that combines both human and artificial intelligence that can help organizations to maximize, the very benefits coming from the feeds that the cameras provide. So we are on a weekly basis also, we're able to extract the feeds, and we can analyze them and generate reports. We can monitor certain organizational policies, the level of implementations, and and this allows the organization to stay ahead of their securities and all that. So these are some of the programs and how they work. Just a few examples of some of the programs and how they can help both organizations, individuals, and especially the families.
Okay, that is great, because what we are doing in African Town Hall Online Television is to provide awareness and help people's lives to meet up with the standard of safety and security they need. That's why we bring expert professionals on this program. Viewers, we appreciate your being with us all of this while. Like we hinted earlier, this is the African Town Hall Online Television, and the program is Personal and Family Security and Safety Program. So we invite you to join us every time, and you can expand this program through your questions and comments. Please keep them coming. Thank you. Okay. Honorable Chigbu, there is an upsurge at the moment in the cybercrime and cybersecurity challenges in Nigeria, and I think all over the world, not just Nigeria, but Nigeria's own is going on very well now. As a leading voice in preventive security advocacy, you have mentioned some preventive measures already. What other preventive measures do you recommend for individuals? That's one, then families, businesses, and government agencies in relation to cybercrime. So if you have a quick mention of some recommendations you can make to each of these organizations or people, we would like to hear them now.
Okay, let me start with the individuals. The reason why I want to start with them is because most times they are the ones that are for victim of this cyber scamming activities. So for as an advice for you, you must understand that privacy of information, online information, is very important. Be mindful of the details that you put online on your social media profiles, and use for every of your accounts, use two-way authentication at least. If you cannot afford any of that, ensure that you activate two-way authentications. Have more than just password credential as a way to authenticate your number. Possibly have another line which you can use as an alternative line to authorize, access to your information or your social media account as investment. For families, you must prioritize preventive security technologies, such as CCTV, of course, cameras, which is at least every home should have a camera. If for not that, at least to monitor the environment, the outside environment. Secondly, you must incorporate things like panic alarm systems. Today we have more smart ones that can even make calls without the intruder knowing that calls have been placed to certain people. So, and these things must be monitored and they must be functioning. So these are very important things to need to do. Thirdly, you must be aware that family, protection of your family is your responsibility. So also consider physical security in your homes. But most importantly, adopt technology. Even the issue of fire, which is one of the problems that homes experience, can be avoided if you have a functioning smoke detector that can detect the fire on time. And then once fire is detected on time, even ordinary water, even a rag or something can stop it. But when you don't have such technologies in your home, it makes it difficult. We even have ones that today we have technologies, smoke detectors that can even alert you once there is a smoke in your house. You can receive alert wherever you are. You can receive an SMS or even a call that is smoke detected in your home. So these are very important measures that families can take. But again, finally, for the families, is the fact that they need to work in synergy with their neighbors when it comes to security of their places. They need to have the number of some of their neighbors and some of the security or emergency response teams, such as fire service, police, and all the rest. It's important that they have emergency numbers in their home. Many homes don't have it. They need to have it. Everybody in the home needs to have it. Because sometimes when you have emergency situations, you need someone else to help you. So such numbers, as little as they can help you, save your life or that of your family. Now, talking about organizations and institutions or corporate bodies, you see, you are one of these professionals that usually take care of or maybe engage in cybercrime issues when it comes to corporate organizations or institutions. Usually, whoever is targeting you normally hire a professional because it's assumed that companies have good security facilities, equipments, and technology as the case may be. So normally, most of the institutions or organizations that would individuals also that would attack corporate organizations will hire someone that is professional. So what I will ask them to do is there is need for them to hire also someone like us who are called ethical hackers or someone who is into preventive security, who is an expert in it, who would work for them as a staff. Outside your normal IT, most times what they do is they hire IT guy and then they now say the IT will do security. That's wrong. You have to hire a security expert, someone who is a cyber security expert, who majors there to take care of your security. That is different from IT. You know, you can't sometimes, yes, some IT guys are also in good, but more or less what they do is the normal DNS and the firewall things and all that. So, but they are not really good into what is called the real security. You know, like cyber security things and all that. So many of them are not good at it. So it's a different field on its own. Information security is a different field. It isn't the same field as an IT guru. So someone could be very good in IT, but may not be in security. So let them hire experts or contract people, companies like ours, Pentupol Limited. Our website is there, pentupol.com and all that. Or someone like the presenter here, Mr. Francis Meridi. They can consult these people and other experts in security whom can be coming to the company to provide. Ideally, I advise them to use an external, cyber security company or somebody who comes externally in addition to the internal one, so that they will have two-way check, in their security systems, and also subscribe to certain preventive technologies or program that can help you. One of them is the type we have developed, what we call intelligent image analysis, which is one thing that most organizations can benefit from. Something that has ability to, give you, analyze the feeds, the camera feeds that you have, and provide you with a summary report, an image-based report. An image-based report can be trusted more than just a physical. So these are some of the advice I will have for them. For the government, also, I must also say my own. The government too, they have the experts, they have the professionals, they've hired these people. But I think they need to do more in creating awareness, in developing certain platforms that can allow people, report incidents. We need to have a database of phone loss, for instance, where people can key into their phone that gets lost, and then where blacklisting can take place, where certain other things, so that these phones can be monitored over time, so that within a certain network, we can monitor this over time at no point, so that anytime that such phones are introduced to the network, they are reported to certain places, and then government can now come in, or certain law enforcement authorities can go in and help to recover such phones. So these are the advice I think that can help both the individual, the government, the families, and of course the corporate institutions.
Okay, that is well given, and that is very comprehensive, and I expect that our viewers have benefited greatly from our program today. This is still the African Town Hall online television, and the program is Personal and Family Security and Safety Program. We carry on this every week without fail to ensure that we can keep the people of this world, Nigeria especially, security aware. And we bring expert professionals who spare their time and energy and knowledge for free without any charge to provide you with this information. We treasure your comments and questions if you keep them coming. If this is your first time or coming to our YouTube channel, we invite you to subscribe to the channel so that our future production, both live and uploaded videos, will become available to you. Thank you very much. On a final note, what are your final thoughts on cybercrime and cybersecurity awareness and policies, both for all the people involved in this discussion, families, corporate organizations, and government? If it has been well taken in the last thing you told us, then let's hear it. But if there are any final thoughts that you have, you can take a minute to mention that as we wrap up.
Okay. See, let me say the truth. These things will get worse, especially in Nigeria. Cyber security attacks, scamming, phishing, and all the rest, they will get worse. The reason is because the very factors that are responsible, for people developing these tendencies to engage in this kind of activities are getting worse by the day. The issue of welfare, poor governance, security, and all that. Provided that these factors are getting worse, the cybersecurity attack will get worse, scamming will get worse. So it is important for people to understand and know this. It may not get better, at least now. Maybe by the time that the Nigerian government and other institutions get more programs around cybersecurity and maybe more laws are enforced, are made, developed, and enacted, then it can reduce. But right now, they may never get better. In fact, the truth is that they get more sophisticated as days go by. So it's also important. The best way to stay aloof is to, be be informed, remain informed, on the very tactics, the latest trend, the latest skills, the latest strategy they are using. So our website, will shut it down now. We're very soon to come live. You can go there and subscribe to our newsletter and all that. So where we provide some regular updates. One of those such places is also to join a program like this. This one organized by the host, where certain experts are brought, and once in a while they discuss this. Maybe in our next program, I will talk about the current trends, some of the techniques that these scammers are using on cybersecurity and all that to scam people and all that. So I will maybe in another program I'll discuss that. So I think there is need for that. And again, on the side of the government, I think that the government need to create study programs or skill acquisition programs, sponsor more skill acquisition on this side, on cybersecurity prevention. Anything people understand that. I think in every institution and ministries, there is need for us to have a cybercrime awareness program. Because like one of the things that we are still currently doing, is that we visit the ministries and we provide quarterly sensitization on cybercrime techniques or technologies or trends. So that way we're able to educate them so they can take it to their homes and also guide their children. I think the more that such programs take place, the better for all of us. So for now, it's not getting better. It is getting more sophisticated, more complicated, and it's skyrocketing. The number of attacks skyrockets on a daily basis. So let us subscribe to programs or to groups that can let us know the current trend they are using, or the current skill. So that way we can better protect ourselves and protect our families.
Thank you very much. This has been a great pleasure for me to share this studio with you today, Honorable Paul Chigbu, and the ways you have shared, the information you've given are golden. And we've seen a number of people coming and out of this broadcast. My hope is that they are able to learn from all the wonderful information you have provided. I'm excited to look forward for the opportunity to be with you again to talk about the techniques and the systems of the cyber criminals, because I think that will be a very great information that is going to save lives and save people's assets, especially their money and their reputation, which is the highest targets of the cyber criminals. Viewers, it has been such a warm and pleasing pleasure for me to share the rostrum today with Mr. Paul Chigbu, who is amply and well qualified as a cyber security professional. Mr. Chigbu, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
And do have a great evening. Thank you. Do have a great evening. Viewers, this program is shared live on our YouTube channel, and it will remain there. We will soon share it on our Facebook pages and groups. Wherever you see them, we want you to watch them, share them with your families. It's all free, no charges are placed with it. And when you get to our YouTube channel, we invite you, we encourage you to please subscribe to the channel so that we will have the capacity to continue to expand this message. Our intention is that if we become aware, like Mr. Chigbu shared with us today, if you can take care of the family security, the rest of the world security will become reasonably cared for. And I believe in that position. Thank you, and do have a great evening, everyone. And anytime you see this, please leave a comment, ask a question. We will be watching our channel every day, and we'll be able to come back to you with responses. Your question might even lead to bringing another expert to come and respond to the questions you're asking, including Honorable Paul Chigbu. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.